are the light of the world. By Bertrand L. Comparet. Taken from your heritage. Prepared into a PDF file by Clifton A. Emmaheiser's Teaching Ministries. Plus critical notes. Our God Yahweh has always manifested himself to us in light, for this is his nature, and he is the source of the light. In I Timothy 6:16, Paul speaks of him as dwelling in the light which no man can approach unto, whom no man hath seen, nor can see. Physically we are lost in darkness and helpless, only in light can we find our way. Morally, spiritually, without the true light of Yahweh's word, we are lost and helpless. Nothing could demonstrate this more clearly than the poor and evil conditions of life in those nations and races which lack this light. Psalm 119:105 speaks truly, thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light upon my path. Yahshua used the same simile spoken by the prophets before him, in John 8:12, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. This alone is the true spiritual light. As the Apostle John says in John 1:4-5, 3:19, in him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. And this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. Spiritual truth is real and eternal. If we ignore it now, we must still face it eventually. As Yahshua said in John 12:48, he that rejecteth me and receiveth not my words, hath one that judgeth him. The word that I have spoken, the same will judge him in the last days. For a little over 3 years, Yahshua taught his gospel, and was in person the light of the world. As Yahshua said in John 9:5, as long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. After his departure, he left behind him his representatives, to continue to spread his teachings in the world. In John 17:6-20 Yahshua remembers Israel in his great prayer, I have manifested thy name unto the men which thou gavest me out of the world, thine they were, and thou gavest them me, and they have kept thy word. For I have given unto them the words which thou gavest me, and they have received them, and have known surely that I came out from thee, and they have believed that thou didst send me. I pray for them, I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine. I have given them thy word, and the world hath hated them, because they are not of the world even as I am not of the world. Sanctify them through thy truth, thy word is truth. As thou hast sent me into the world, even so have I also sent them into the world. Neither pray I for these alone, but for them also which believe on me through their word. In Matthew 5:14 Yahshua told his disciples that now ye are the light of the world, in his place. They too lived their lives and are gone, but the great work must go on. What they did in that first century, you must do in this 20th century. You are now and must be the light of the world. You, as individuals, must teach our nation and race, so the nation and race will demonstrate to the world the peace, freedom and prosperity which are possible only to those who walk in the light of Yahshua's words. Today all nations, even our own, are being brainwashed by a satanic propaganda campaign, to give false freedom and equality to people not ready for it. It is a so-called freedom which is only savagery and cannibalism, or atheistic darkness and Marxist slavery. Even most of our churches have been infiltrated and corrupted into following this satanic line. We can be the light of the world only if we have Yahshua's light. Here is where many of today's churches have failed. They are willing to pay lip service to Yahshua the man, but they want nothing to do with Yahshua the Christ. Two modern writers have summed it up in these words. The reason why the churches are discredited today is not because they are too bigoted about theology, but because they have run away from theology. If the church is to make any impression on the modern mind, she will have to preach Christ and the cross. Of late, she has not succeeded well in preaching Christ. She has preached Jesus, which is not at all the same thing. Creed or Chaos by Dorothy Sayers. How many popular histories, encyclopedias and school textbooks have blindfolded Yahshua by an apologetic paragraph on the carpenter of Nazareth, or the great teacher of Galilee? They read about the seamless robe, but do not receive new life by the touch of a living faith. They follow the story of the big fisherman, but never made the great confession, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living Yahweh. They listen to the greatest story ever told on the radio, but do not know the power of Yahshua's resurrection. They belong to a Christless Christianity. Reverend Samuel M. Zweimer. Too many churches are in full retreat these days. They abandon the only foundation of their faith, that Yahshua is the Christ. All that oppose this are false. They sacrifice him on the altar of brotherhood with his enemies. They won't read from the Gospel of John for fear of offending the Christ-hating Jews. Yet, if they only believe the Bible to which they give hypocritical lip service, they must read Christ's own words recorded in Luke 9:26. For whomsoever shall be ashamed of me and of my words, of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he shall come in his own glory, and in his Father's, and of the holy angels. These are that Laodicean church of whom Yahshua said in Revelation 3:15-16, I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wert cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm, and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. There are a lot of candidates for a spittoon in this world today. To be the light of the world, we must have the only true light, Christianity. We shouldn't have the diluted substitute which passes under this name today, evading, retreating, giving up principle to find the least common denominator with paganism and atheism, with yellow, brown and black. We should take an unflinching stand upon the identity of Christ, and upon his gospel of the kingdom of Yahweh. Where is the true light of the world today? We look for it in vain outside the nations of the true Israel, the Anglo-Saxon, Scandinavian and Germanic peoples. In all Asia, India and the dark races of Africa, we do not find the slightest trace of it. As it has been since ancient times, their course today is steadily downward. Remember when Yahshua said, "Ye are the light of the world." This is a duty and a responsibility we must meet. We must not lower our level to that of the other nations, we must raise our level to its highest as a light to all who will see. Christ said, "The glory which thou gavest me I have given them." This fulfills Isaiah 60:1-3:12. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of Yahweh is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But Yahweh shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And the nations shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. Our duty is not to drag this glory in the dust where the dark people lie. It is to raise it triumphantly to the highest mountain tops. Its enemies will not accept it voluntarily. They say, "Give us the wealth your God has given you, and become one of us, but we will have none of your God." This is not the way to truth. The only true good we can do to these nations is to refuse them our aid until they accept it on the same terms on which we got it. It is the bounty of our God Yahweh, given to those who know him and are loyal to him. Can we be the light of the world if the lesson we teach is this: remain savages, and you will receive the wealth you have not earned. Worship devils and you will receive the bounty of Yahweh? Our light is that which we receive from Yahshua, not from Buddha, Brahma, or the devil gods of Africa. It is not the wealth extorted from our plundered taxpayers to be given to strengthen our enemies. We do not spread the light by harnessing ourselves, like mules, to serve the pagan and the atheist. We can be the light of the world only by teaching the world that the material good comes only as the fruit of spiritual good. Matthew 6:33 states, "Seek ye first the kingdom of Yahweh, and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." There is no other way. Critical note by Clifton A. Imani sir. As much as I appreciate Comparet's teachings, I will have to disapprove of some of his remarks in this presentation. The following excerpts show a weakness on Comparet's part, suggesting that if the non-whites will adopt our ways, then they too will receive our benefits. Comparet said, "You, as individuals, must teach our nation and race, so the nation and race will demonstrate to the world the peace, freedom and prosperity which are possible only to those who walk in the light of Yahshua's words." The only true good we can do to these nations is to refuse them our aid until they accept it on the same terms on which we got it. We can be the light of the world only by teaching the world that the material good comes only as the fruit of spiritual good. Emphasis mine. Comparet was more correct when he said, "Our duty is not to drag this glory, light, in the dust where the dark people lie." It was appropriate, though, for Comparet to quote John 1:5, where it says, "And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not." This passage is as much as saying that no matter how hard we try to teach the darker races the light we receive from Yahweh, they will only turn and rend us in the end. Matthew 7:6.